We are in the midst of a pandemic, a worldwide event. The history books will tell the story of the how and why, with statistics and graphs, pictures of empty streets or parked aeroplanes. They will not tell the story of you and I. Like cobwebs, we will be brushed aside, like the unwary, open-mouthed figure, frozen by fear. We will be consumed by the tsunami of this global happening. We are not the first, nor the last to find ourselves bystanders to a world-changing event. The extraordinary story of these days will be made up of 1,000,000 smaller stories, drowned out by the bigger one, and yet, this is a story set in extraordinary times. There are epic battles, fought, won, lost. There are no heroes, unless you count survival as heroism. This is a story of the small details, of the view of a child in the footwell of a car. It is the story of crushed ice tracks made by tanks, trundling deadly down urban streets in the dead of night. It is the sifting of ants from the sugar. We, my friend, are the ants of this pandemic. We will be sifted and set aside, so that all that remains will be the pure sugar of truth. But the ants, you and I, we never go away, are never fully removed, no matter how fine the sieve. This then is a story of Poland under martial law, of one journey amongst 1,000.
First sign there is something wrong is Mum's body language. She appears both angry and fearful. Lethal combination. Brother, 6 years old, and I, 7, would prefer she was at work or if Dad were home. But he is almost never home. He is at work, working, or working and meeting lady friends, or just meeting lady friends. Mum is home more often than Dad, often in a bad mood. That's an understatement. When Dad is home, there may be some peace, or not. They may argue, or they may want to sleep after a night shift. Many times, when both or either one are home, we must be quiet, because they wish to rest or study. Both are trained to be doctors, although no medical book seems to emphasise the need for empathy.
Suit yourself, said the Times of post-war Poland. Do not join the Communist Party and have yourself marked a sitting duck. As ducks go, sitting in or out of water, perhaps Mum waddled into duck-unfriendly territory big time. She seems perpetually at cross ends with the world, and Dad appears not to care too much. Suit yourself, it's just the Times, but it's all the time. It never goes, until to its crushing force you say, I will, but say it calmly, like you're prepared, even when you're not. When the blows strike, you have to be prepared and hope to live, because you must realise you're never prepared, not fully, so realise that. Tea is good, with milk, although it took me many years to get used to it. Polish tea is so different to English tea. Also, we always drank it without milk, with lemon juice, from a plastic lemon, and in times of opulence, from a real lemon.
Mum bustles around the flat in a not good type of bussiness. What's up? Brother and I communicate with our eyes. Not a word. Utterances of any kind are best avoided. We must wait until she leaves. Don't go out, Mum says. She repeats it a few times, makes us repeat it, then says what would happen if we would go out. I will whack you black and blue if you dare to stick your ass outside. She keeps repeating the command, until I am sure. Brother also hears it only partially, no longer as words, but noise. Like monks, being ransacked by a berserk Viking. Bro and I hope she will leave the flat, satisfied with the carnage of threats. Then bang, crash goes the door. She is gone.
What we like, my brother and I, is to take a walk by ourselves around the estate, or to cycle to the park, later when we learn to cycle. But for now, it is a walk. But what to do? Mum says not to go out. Days are passing with no going out. Bread and butter, mug of drink. Decision is made. On. Coats on. Zip up. Gently now with that zip, because sometimes it catches the chin. And ready. We walk towards the stationery shop, where they sell such wonderful things as exercise book stickers. These stickers are so special. They have a person on them, made of lines, with a circle for a head, 2 dots for eyes and a smile. A complete sentient being, captured, immortalized, transported onto stickers in different poses no less, to accompany you all the way to school. They cost so little that even we can afford them. You can buy 3 for a penny. Isn't that grand? As it happens, we have 2. Mark my words, 2 pennies, and that means we can buy 6 Stickmen stickers. That's 3 each. Wonderful. We're so happy. Off we go. As we approach the shop, we see 2 armed men standing by it. It so happens the stationery shop is next door to the co-op food shop. Both shops are closed. The 2 men wear bulky clothes and have special helmets on, not like soldiers' helmets, but different ones. We can hear them talking to each other. It's a cold day, and every time you open your mouth, billows of smoke come out. "Don't shoot," says one of them. "They're just kids." "We were told to shoot looters," said the other. "They're looters. I'm going to shoot." He adjusts his machine gun and takes aim at us. As we look at the stickers through the window, our breath mists the glass. We wipe it with a gloved hand. I briefly look at the men, or rather boys, and at the one taking aim. He has the look of a school bully, something I'm already familiar with. I gently pull my brother by the sleeve, and like animals who hunt, or are prey, we don't speak. A gesture is enough. I look at my brother quickly and nudge him towards a corner. I give him a gentle prod, an almost imperceptible touch with my hand on his sleeve. He understands. When he reaches the corner, which thankfully is just a few steps away, he breaks into a run, and so do I. We don't look back until we're near our block of flats, which is a few minutes fast run. The armed men were too heavy with gear to run after us.
Later that day, Mother comes in. She asks if we were out. I have not smartened up in clues, which I would have, had I read Sherlock Holmes, but I haven't yet. "No," I reply. Short word, but of course, it is a wrong word. She points to the fresh mud on shoes. For some reason there was a lot of mud on the streets today.
I heard Super Duper was invented by the Polish pilots during World War II. When asked how a flight was, they would reply, super, and rhyme it with duper. Duper, in Polish, means arse. In the days to come, the streets would be covered in more mud. Super duper days.
To us, Dad was safety. How much damage he caused will take us years to realise. He was glad to accept the saviour status, or perhaps he was sure of it. I think he was sure of it.
One evening, Dad is home. I can't remember if the secret police came to search the flat before that evening or after. They seem to have been made of plywood, badly put together, with splinters sticking from their sides. Even as you watched them from another room and caught them saying, "What do you mean you don't know?" filling the air with their jaggedness.
Afterwards, Dad is packing a few things. That meant a journey. To where? To Granny. Which Granny? Could we go? In Polish, you don't have to say please to indicate a request. You ask, and the request is indicated in the intonation. But of course we don't indicate. We say, take us. Fine, get ready in 5, he says, and we know it means minutes. Coats on, socks are on already, so just shoes then, and done. Let's walk down silently, because some people might be sleeping, Dad says. In reality, let's walk down quietly, so hopefully no one will hear us or try to stop us, or grass on us. It's a few days into martial law. There is a curfew. There are tanks with soldiers guarding every town, even our small town.
Outside on the parking space is Dad's Sirena car. The name means mermaid. It takes oil and petrol mixed in proportion. Oil is cheaper and most people put too much oil in. It makes the Sirena produce whooping noises, like a patient doused with wrong medication.
The snow is perfect. But there is no time for that. With wistful longing, we notice how nicely the snow is compacted. A tank drove by earlier, compressing it into a smooth layer. We get into the car. Dad lets it roll quietly down the hill. That is one way of hoping it will start at the bottom of it. Otherwise, it will have to be pushed up the hill. We sit on the front seat. Dad issues commands. We are both allowed, brother and I, to sit on the front seat. But when we see the soldiers, we must duck under the dashboard as soon as we see them. We must not come out until he says it is safe to do so.
We do see them a few seconds into the journey. Under, he says, and we hide under the dashboard, peering curiously upwards from the floor. The arm of the tank swivels round and comes to a stop, pointing at us. Dad is not slowing down. He keeps driving. Soldiers scramble from out of the tank, and the ones walking around it line up by the road. We hold our breath.
They all salute Dad, and he salutes them back. We look up from the floor view. The fogged windows of the car and the night's darkness hide us from them. We pass them, waiting for Dad to say it is all clear. When he does, we ask if we can salute as well next time. No. Only he can salute. The tanks perform their routine. The soldiers clamouring to salute. A night, day, and another night. I don't know why Dad took us. So that soldiers would take pity if we were caught, or to spite Mum. Why were we driving across Poland?
Word had reached Mum and Dad through bug telephone lines that they, my mum's relations in Silesia, weren't doing great. Meaning they had scarcely any food, that is, meat. Each household had hundreds of pickled and preserved food, as in fruits and vegetables stored in the dark, dry space of the cellar. Potatoes sprout when exposed to light, so they must be kept in the dark. But they don't have meat. Perhaps they would have sourced the meat somehow, but Dad resolves to drive to his parents in the village and kill their pig to redistribute the meat across the families and to those in Silesia. A few months previously, someone borrowed his car. The person smashed it badly. It was pieced together, but there was no paint available to repaint it to its previous beige colour or any uniform colour. It was painted with whatever the garage could scrape together, which was a mix of different colours, from olive green to brown. Sirena looked like a military camouflage car. The soldiers thought Dad was a Secret Service official, the Gestapo of the communist bloc. So, there is Dad, wanted by the secret police for involvement with Solidarity, driving across Poland without a permit of any kind. Not a Communist Party member on the Let's Implicate the Bastard list for daring, because refusing to join the party is daring beyond comprehension. So, there he is, with all the above on his CV, being mistaken for a secret police official.
Grandmother and Grandad are shocked to see us. We are ushered in great panic, the car covered with tarpaulin. A neighbour comes to inquire what is under the tarpaulin. Grandad says a piece of machinery. We also hear Grandmother offering the lady, the inquisitive one, some tea, with sugar. Grandmother almost shouts. That means the sugar, because there is also sugar.
But the sugar is the one without ants. It is kept in a giant jar on the topmost shelf in the kitchen. You reach for it, balancing a chair on a table. To reach for it is an operation of some endeavour. A little settee has to be moved. Then the table has to be brought forward. Then a chair is put on a table, and preferably someone should hold the chair, and then the giant jar is taken down. When asked if she will stop this dangerous procedure, my grandmother says, "Well, how would I then have the sugar?" Ants. Yes, it is not as mysterious as it may appear. Ants have discovered grandmother's sugar. In winter, they leave it alone, but in summer, they resume their efforts in trying to get some of the sugar. They bravely move in, and many ant soldiers perish in the sugar granules, the innumerable tiny granules in the 1 kilogram sugar bags, of which grandmother keeps many, because you never know when it might run out. Then, also as not to waste sugar and replenish the sugar, sugar is painstakingly sifted through a small sieve. The ants are picked out by hand. It is best done during the day because at night, the bulb light is so deceptive to the eye. But who has time for such things on a farm, where one job chases another, with no stoppage?
Children, sit here and sift some sugar into the sugar, demands Grandmother. When this task is carried out in the summer, the dratted ants move swiftly back into the sugar. A calamity. Grandmother gets angry. Then it's best to run before she swipes us with a cloth. Also, we must not eat poppy seeds from her supplies. There's poppy seed cake only. She grew them with great care, hiding them in her other crop, because some busybody proposed they must be banned completely to discourage heroin users. Yes, but what about the poppy seed cake?
No poppy seed cake. For the greater good, forget poppy seed cake. I don't like any cake, so I'm not bothered. I only like ice cream, which due to problems with production is rarely available, Maybe twice a year, if you're lucky, you may have ice cream. But Grandmother Helena loves poppy seed cake. We, her grandchildren, discover poppy seeds are tasty by themselves. We try to access her stash of it and wander around the fields checking which pods are nicely ripe, rattling deliciously with dry seeds. The one giveaway, though, are seeds stuck between our teeth. Grandmother is furious with us.
Pig is killed, portioned, cured, and packed. The car is loaded with the meat. At night, Grandad puts his horse to the car, Chestnut, with pieces of old blankets strapped to his hooves, so he would not make any noise on the road. The car is silently wheeled out from the village and past the good villager's earshot. By the time we reach the relations in Silesia, one of the front lights comes out of its socket, dangling on a mighty spring, like an extendable eye.
On seeing us, the Silesian grandmother Anna faints. When she comes to, gathered around the coffee table and plied on whatever best the house could offer, Dad explains the story of the camouflage car, of being mistaken for the secret police. Yes, Dad himself, wanted by the secret police for involvement with Solidarity, driving across Poland without a permit of any kind, not a Communist Party member on the Let's Implicate the Bastard list for daring. Refusing to join the party is daring beyond comprehension. So there he is, all this on his CV, plus a car full of illegally sourced meat, being mistaken for a secret police official. Isn't that juice?
Isn't that juice? Used to say one lady when enamoured with yet another item of clothing because she used to obsessively buy clothes. That is clothes from the 20s era.
Isn't that juice?
Obywatelki i obywatele. Wielki jest ciężar odpowiedzialności, jaka spada na mnie w tym dramatycznym momencie polskiej historii. Obowiązkiem moim jest wziąć tę odpowiedzialność. Chodzi o przyszłość Polski, o którą moje pokolenie walczyło na wszystkich frontach wojny.
Between the 13th of December 1981 and 22nd of July 1983, 97 of our citizens would be killed. Many more would be imprisoned, interrogated, and tortured. Isn't that juice?
My grandmother had an aristocratic friend. He never learnt the art of independent life, like tying shoelaces. In the communist Poland, stripped of his gentleman's gentleman, grandmother had to do double knot on his shoes every few days. He would pay a visit once it came undone. He never learnt to cook either. Once he came to her very concerned. He said, "Anna, I'm exasperated." She asked why. He said, "I've been boiling this egg for 2 hours now, and it's still hard."